Welcome to Clement's Family Farm. Here's an update on the new vanilla extraction system that I came up with that is totally food grade safe, and it's a complete circulation system. I've been putting off this video for a long time, and the reason why is there's not equipment like this on the market, and I'm trying to find stuff that is available and test the stuff before showing you these videos, so I work out the details and some of the pros and cons about it. Along with that, I've been really trying to work with some companies and trying to figure out something to have a tank sitting here. So if any of you companies out there want to work with me and let's do a little R&D on some tank testing, reach out to me. I'll be glad to do that. I've been doing this for a little while now, and I know what some of the issues are when it comes to vanilla. I wanted to have a tank sitting here today, already tested for all of you. That just hasn't happened. So I'm just doing the update with what I have here because I've already done the 6-gallon batch. I wanted a little bit smaller version that I can run multiple tests, different types of tests, and do some infusions. This right here is a beautiful setup for just that. For those of you that want to do 1-gallon batches, half-gallon batches, this is it. It is modular also. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you how I built it, go through step by step on the different screens, and then how it's all put together. I am on day 15 today, and it's working incredible. So what I did is I took some Madagascar grade bees, I cut the tips off, I split them down the center. What I did is I put them in a half-gallon jar, I filled it up with a calculated amount of alcohol, and then I put a vacuum seal on it. The reason why I started off that way is I know grade bees are a little drier, and I wanted to soak them a little bit before putting them in here. I also know vacuum sealing the vanilla beans helps open up those fibers and allows that fluid to get in there. While I was leak checking this with water, I just went ahead, put my vanilla beans in a half-gallon jar, along with the tips and everything in the same jar, put a vacuum seal on them, and let them sit while I was doing the leak check. I think that was the best decision if you're doing any type of extraction. Doesn't matter if it's circulating or leaving your jars on the table. Vacuum sealing, definitely an improvement. I put the beans in here, filled it up. I'm going to show you that in this video towards the end, the first time starting this thing up and running it. But what I have sitting here is a couple sight glasses in an arrangement that I thought was going to work, and it does work. These are 4-inch sight glasses. This is a 2-inch sight glass. I have screens in between. You'll see the details on that later. And then a lower section here that holds everything together. And then I was able to put together a pump system, a bypass system, a sampling port, our fluid into the top of the head. It has worked out really well. A couple of good things about this is I do have a sampling port here where I can take a sample of my vanilla. I could take a TDS reading with it. I could look at the color. I could look at everything right here. If I do a couple valve switches here, I can open this back up and drain this fluid back into the system as the fluid's being pulled by the pump, and it all gets put right back in. It's really nice. So we've got our main vanilla up here with a screen. This is a 10 mesh screen, and then it drops down into this sight glass into a 40 mesh screen, which is holding back the vanilla seeds or any small particles before dropping down into the pump. Anything gets past this screen, it's going to be fine for the pump. Comes up here to the pump and then into a T. Two reasons why I put the T in. One, I could take the sample. The other thing is, if this tea here ever gets any dead spots in it, I could just run the flow through here, eliminate the dead spots, and there won't be any stagnant fluid. I don't think I have to worry about that. I just leave this running 24/7. This also allowed me to install a permanent TDS monitor. Everybody knows I take TDS readings because this is how I know when my extract is finished pulling all those flavors out. So essentially, we are washing our vanilla beans. With the total circulation, we're doing the same thing when we're shaking our jars, is we're washing our vanilla beans. We're trying to extract all those flavor compounds out as fast as we can, because once we get those flavor compounds out into the fluid, then it can meld and do its aging. It can blend and mix in with those alcohols and get those flavors that we really want. The circulation does that. It does it on a 24/7. This is why this system works so well. I've already done the testing with our jars sitting on the table, and I know now for sure, after multiple tests, we are extracting more flavor compounds out using this method because it's a 24/7, 24 agitation, and we are actually getting more out of the vanilla beans. Because I'm going to tell you, with the vacuum sealing and then putting them into this, I'm at 15 days. My parts per million really haven't changed in the last 10 days. Flavor and the color has changed in those last 10 days. The actual parts per million in the fluid hasn't changed. So that tells me that the vanilla beans are pretty much the same concentration as the fluid as far as parts per million. It's all flowing around them, and those vanilla beans aren't putting off any more flavor compounds. So we are at a neutral stage now between the fluid and the vanilla beans. Now, that chemical reaction that's happening in there is still going to go on, and the reason why I'm continuing to monitor it. But anyway, let's get back to the TDS. This tea has allowed me to install the permanent TDS monitor, and I was able to put it over here on a nice little stand, and I could take TDS readings whenever I want. So this unit runs 24/7. It sits right here daily for me. I just come over, I take a temperature reading, I look at it, log it down, come over here, push the button, and I'm getting a TDS reading. It is very nice to be using this instead of one of these. For this type of system, I don't have to open it up. I really don't even have to take a sample of it and see what my numbers are. So along with the tea, a valve here which I could control my flow to the top of the head as the silicone tubing comes up, ties into the top, and then dumps the fluid back in. So there's a valve here to adjust that. I leave it wide open. I haven't seen any issues with it, leaving it wide open and getting full flow. I do have a valve here at the bottom. That's basically for maintenance, or if I run into issues and I need to take the pump off, I can shut it off here, leave everything in here, and it's perfectly good. But I'll go into those details at the end of the video, and you can see how this all really comes together. I'll leave some links down below on some of the parts. I wish I could be putting these kits together for all of you. It's just not in my wheelhouse right now. I want to show you what's available and what you can get and what you could do at home by yourself. This is also modular. Like I said, this is a 1 gallon unit with 16 ounces of vanilla beans in here. You can modify this how you want. You don't have to have the 2-inch section here. You can start off with all 4-inch. You get another half gallon or another gallon out of it. There are modules, pipe modules that you can add to this. There's 4-inch pipe that could be anywhere from 10 inches up to 4 feet you can install in here and then add more. I just happen to like the sight glasses. Adds to the cool factor. I can see what's going on. But it is completely modular. You can use 4-inch down here as your tees. There's a variety of options that you can do to get a little bit more. I'm going to eventually get a tank system one way or the other, get it here, and I could transfer all of this right to that tank. I could put the sight glass on there. I could put an easy connection to the bottom of the tank, use this pump, and go right into it. So now I'm very versatile. Tank system, I'm looking at 14 gallons. Here we got 1 gallon. And this is perfectly fine for me because while I have a batch going, I can have, 4 or 5 of these jars sitting on a vacuum ready to go with different test batches, different vanilla beans, different alcohols. And then once this one gets done, I can pull everything out and go right back in with the new one, continue the cycle. Not only am I making extract here, I'm looking at flavored alcohols and infusing alcohols with different flavors. Because I've seen some posts in the past where there are some distillers wanting to flavor their alcohols from home. You might have 2 gallons or a gallon of vodka. That's just a plain vodka. Kirkland vodka. No flavor to it. You might want to add some flavor to it, like raspberry. Or you might want to add a certain type of wood, oak tannin to it. You could put your wood blocks in here, run it through. You can run charcoal through here, even break it down even more. There's a lot of options you can do with this, and one of the reasons why I wanted to build something like this. Do you need something like this to make vanilla extract? No. You can use the jars, leave them on your table, and you're perfectly fine. If you want to get a little bit better extract, then this is the way to go. I'm going to say right now on how dark this is, and the smell from this. I know you're not supposed to taste it. Okay, 15 days in. This is very sweet. It smells very good. I'm not getting that bite from the alcohol. I do get the warmth of the alcohol, but I'm not getting that pungent alcohol taste. Now I'm going to tell you, I use Captain Morgan coconut rum, 70 proof. I don't use anything but 70 proof. Even if I buy an alcohol that's 100 proof, I'm going to proof it down to 70. I know that 70 proof is a better alcohol. No matter what alcohol you decide to use, proof it down to 70, you're going to get a better extract out of it. As the 70 proof with the higher water content in it will actually pull more flavors out of your vanilla bean. So that's why I always use 70 proof. The aeration of this helps deaden that bite and mellow out the alcohol. As you can tell right now, I just took a little sip of that. The concentration of vanilla is incredible. That alcohol bite's not there. You do get that warmth there. You do know there's alcohol in it, but it's not that hit you in the throat alcohol bite. And that's one of the things I want to encourage, and one of the reasons why I really like this system. And I'm learning every day what works, what doesn't work. From the comments of you guys and from other distillers and other home brewers chiming in, I am learning the properties of alcohol and how it's affecting everything when we're making extracts. I believe that the aeration really does knock down the alcohol bite. And I can tell you right now, I mean, look how dark that is. You can smell, it almost smells like a really good syrup. It has a little sweetness to it. You can smell that aroma from the vanilla. It goes in real nice. And it's just that warming effect. It's like eating a peppermint. It doesn't bite you at first, but it comes in and it kind of gives you that little peppermint feel to your mouth, knowing that there's alcohol in it. Is that going to change over time? It might. I'm going to go into the details of this, and I'll see you at the end, and you can see all the breakdown of how I put this together and how I started and the way it looked like. You look at it now, look how dark it is versus when I first started, and I'll come back chit chat with you. All right, I've been leak testing this for a couple weeks now, and the one thing I wanted to do was make some iced tea. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and make some iced tea with this and kind of show you how it works before actually putting some vanilla in it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and break this thing down, clean it all up, get it all resanitized, and then I'll bring it back here and show you everything I have with this unit from start to finish. All right, I'm going to let this brew for a minute, get my first cup of iced tea. All right, so it's been brewing. I'm going to go ahead and take a little sample of it here. And let's get this thing cleaned up and ready for some vanilla extract. All right, I got everything cleaned up and I'm ready to assemble everything. But before I do that, I just wanted to touch base on sanitation. Everybody asks me, do I sanitize? Do I wash? Whatever. I sanitize everything with Star Sands, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But I love Star Sands because you can wash it in the sink and let it air dry. You don't have to wipe it down. Or you could put it in a spray bottle. I spray bottle everything and then let it air dry and it's sanitized. So I always do a good washing with soap and water, and then I come back with the Star Sands and sanitize everything, and then even run it in through the system if you want to do it complete. All right, so let's talk about the base a little bit. All these components are Sani clamp system. They're used in sanitation areas for food grade processes, like milking. It's used in the milking industry quite often, but that's why I went to this system, because you can buy this stuff on Amazon and put it together yourself, depending on the size that you want and how big you want to expand to. But for this system, let's just talk about what I have here and what you possibly could do. So my base is a T unit. And the reason I went with the T unit, because I needed something to kind of hold everything. And I clamped it down. I made the base myself. I'm a welder on the side, so I was fortunate enough to make the base myself, which is this whole contraption. And I was able to clamp everything down because this does get heavy. But here's the Sani system. They use these clamps. It's really nice. So I got the base here, and then I have an end cap with an adapter on it for some of these PVC fittings. And these is just RO fittings for reverse osmosis water, which is all food grade capable lines. So again, all food grade. And then on this side here, I have another adapter with a valve on it, and then with a couple fittings to get to the pump. I am going to say this stuff is stainless steel, and stainless steel to stainless steel is really kind of a pain in the butt for threaded applications, like this ball valve to these threads. So use caution if you do use the stainless steel on stainless steel items. Stainless steel to PVC is not an issue. They thread on really well. But any stainless steel to stainless steel, any pipe fitter, plumber will know this, that those two aren't very compatible. And the threads kind of suck. Anyway, again, we go into some king fittings, which is hose adapters, and then into the work pump. This is a food grade work pump used in distilleries to transfer mash and everything. It is food grade. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, the work pump here was around $50–$60. I don't know how long it's going to last because most of these cheaper pumps aren't made to run 24/7, 365 days a year. Right now, as my testing's going, I don't see any issues with it. Been running it for weeks now with no issues other than it warming up a little bit. It does affect the fluid temperature, but not enough for me to be concerned. The fluid temperature never gets above 90 degrees, 92 degrees. In this room, this is a controlled room. An easy solution is a little fan right here. It drops that temperature by 10 degrees, also dropping the temperature in your fluid. And then from the work pump, it comes up into this T. And from here, I got another shutoff valve because this valve's important, as this is how you control your flow coming into your head unit. All right, back to the T where I've got another valve, and then to this food grade tubing, which circulates back into the main base unit. Two reasons why I have this. One, I want to take a sample, so I can come back over here, take a sample, and it circulates. The other reason is I have a TDS meter on here. I found a TDS meter that's built in where I never have to open up the unit, take a sample, take a reading of the TDS, and then put it back in. Never have to do that. It's built in. It's automatically taking readings 24/7. All I got to do is push the button here. It turns on the unit and it gives me a reading. It'll stay on for, I think, 5 minutes and then it shuts back off again. It's an awesome little unit. I've been testing it out with just the plain water and watching the temperatures, and it's working wonderful. I can't wait to get some vanilla in this and start taking some readings. So that's pretty much it for the base unit. So one of the reasons I went with this whole system like I did is everything is food grade and everything is the tri-clamp locking system. I don't have to screw on or screw off any fittings at this point. And it's a wonderful clamping system. It's easy to do and you don't have to use a lot of force. If you look right here, the top of this flange, there is a groove. Here's one of the gaskets that go in there. It also has a raised portion of the gasket that fits right inside that groove. And then when you put the next item on, they all have that same groove and the same flat spot on both ends. And then when you put it on top like that, you just take your clamp. These are really nice clamps. Put it around. Actually, let me just show you what's supposed to go in there. The best thing about all of this, they make stuff specifically for all of these fittings. Here is a 40 mesh screen that's built into the gasket. And what I'm doing with this is keeping all the vanilla seeds at this point right here and not into the pump or anything like that. Some debris may get past this, some seeds may get past it. It's okay. If it gets past this screen, it's going to get past the pump and get recirculated back in. It will not hurt that pump. So anyway, we've got this nice 40 mesh screen to go on. And then look at this. A beautiful little sight glass. This is all 2-inch here. So this is typically used as a sight glass in the industry. And then you just put it right on there. You match up those grooves. And then these are the clamps here. And all you do is you put it around. And it fits right on there. And then you turn this. And it starts clamping down on it. And what it does is as you're clamping in like this around it, it's forcing the two surfaces together as you're tightening it up. All it does is smashes that gasket together and creates a really nice seal. You don't have to crank down on these. They just got to be finger tight and you're good. You'll know if there's a leak. Never had one leak on any of these tri-clamp flanges. Anyway, this is a 2-inch sight glass. That way I can see the fluid that's coming down through here. But this system right here really doesn't give me the volume that I'm really looking for. But I needed enough volume to keep this pump fed. So this was a good idea. I didn't go with the smaller 1.5 inch because of that reason. So this is all 2-inch here. And then from here, I need the volume now because this is a 1 gallon small batch unit for total circulation, all food grade. So I needed the volume. I need to go up to 4-inch to get the volume that I needed. So here we have it. We have a 4-inch. I am going to go ahead, grab my gasket, put it on top here. And then this is an adapter from 2-inch to 4-inch. Then all I'm going to do, put the clamp around, make sure it's on there good. Tighten it up. Make sure it's nice and sealed. Again, this system's wonderful because they have these built-in screens that we can use. Now, mine goes here. This will keep all the vanilla beans and all the big chunks up in this area and away from the pump section. You can get this mesh. This is a 10 mesh, I believe. Yep, this is a 10 mesh here. This will keep most of the particles up, but the 40 mesh here will catch it down there, and then I can see what's going on here. If I needed more volume for vanilla beans, I could get a 10 mesh in the 2-inch size and put it here. That way I've got double protection still, but I can use this portion here for the volume for more vanilla beans. All right, had to change the camera angle a little bit so y'all can see the full picture of this. So I got the 10 mesh here. Now I'm going to take these other 2 sight glasses. So this is 2 4-inch sight glasses that I put together, and I wanted the volume. That's the reason why I did it. There are other things I'll discuss later that are options for you, but I kind of wanted to look at the cool factor of this also. And just to kind of get an idea of the cost of some of these fittings, this unit right here, this one sight glass, is right around $56. So you're looking at $100 here, but for me, it was worth a little bit for that cool factor and to kind of see what's going on. But anyway, again, these all have the same type of clamping system with the groove in it. Got my mesh up there with the O-ring seal. I'm just going to put this on top. Same type of clamping system. Gonna put it around. Make sure it fits nice and is on both sides. Give it a little squeeze. And then just finger tighten them. And that's pretty much it. And then check. So there we have. I'm calling this the head unit, and then this is the base unit here. And then the top piece, another O-ring, fits right on top. And then I have an adapter here, which is a 4-inch to inch and a half fitting. So there are 3 different sizes here, and I have reasons for doing that. But 1.5 inch fitting, and then again, that adapter plate has the grooves on it. And then I'm just going to put this clamp on and then finger tighten it. Now I didn't show you this because it's already on, but on top of this adapter is another clamping system that it converts it into a hose fitting. So we have the hose fitting from here all the way up to the top that drops down with the clamping system. The beauty about all this, it is easy to do, easy to handle. There's not a bunch of screws or threaded fittings. You could take them apart. It's interchangeable. You could do different things. You could start off with the 4-inch from here and just add a couple of these and get a bit bigger or more volume out of it. This unit right now will do 1 gallon. So I have 16 ounces of vanilla beans here in a pre-soak under a vacuum seal, because we know that vacuum sealing helps those vanilla beans open up those pores and get that fluid in there. So I've had these while I was doing the leak check on this. I had these on a vacuum soaking. Use Madagascar grade Bs for this, so they're a little bit drier, and this will actually help open that up, get those beans soaked up and ready for the washing part of it and the total circulation. But anyway, that's pretty much the components of this. The other beauty about it is completely sealed. There is no air brakes in this. It's not going to evaporate. If it does get some heat in there and condensation, guess what? It's all trapped inside and it's not going to go anywhere. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up for the components. Let's give some vanilla in there and let's get this circulating. So I knew there was going to be some air in the line and I needed to put more fluid in it, but I just wanted to get this going and I ended up having to stop the pump for a minute here, which I did, and then let everything settle and let the air kind of percolate out. And then I turned it back on and everything was good. So when I first turned on the pump, I didn't get good flow because of the air in there and it was cavitating. But shut it off, turn it back on, and it worked just fine. So this is me looking at it for the first time. I've never seen this process before, never seen anything like it. So I am checking everything out to see how everything is flowing, what it looks like. This is the first for me. So I'm in awe on how everything is working. Even though I've been leak checking it for 2 weeks, I'm always still amazed when I see something like this and trying to figure some things out, because this is all new. Nobody's sharing this kind of information and I'm learning, but I'm amazed by the aeration that's happening, the flow that's going on, and what I can see in the lower sight glass. I'll try to show a little clip of the lower sight glass here at the end, so you can actually see the flow going through it. And I'm just amazed at the whole thing. I wasn't too sure if this screen would be too little. All right, now that you've seen all the components put together, operating and functioning, now we are here at the finish. So what do I do when I'm done? Once I follow all the TDS numbers and everything levels out, it doesn't mean that you can't pull everything out and put your fluid and your vanilla beans in a separate jar and let them sit. I am going to let these sit for 2 weeks after I pull them off the circulation and let them meld together and allow those solids that are going to be burned up to drop out or float to the top. That's an important process of the whole system. Even shaking your jars is there's that chemical reaction going on. But do I need to do that in this? No. I'm going to pull everything out because I know the numbers are good. Everything's flattened out. And I'm going to put them into a separate container and start my next batch. We are 15 days into it as of today. I am going to go another 10 days just to kind of make sure that the numbers are correct and there's no spikes and no increase after 20 days or 30 days, just to make sure. And then I'm going to put them into a jug and let them rest for 2 weeks prior to bottling them. I may let them rest. I'm going to continue to take readings on it until I get the next batch. I'm not in a hurry to bottle right now, and I can continue to experiment and make this same extract over and over again until I am ready to bottle. My biggest time of the year for bottling or having vanilla extract starts in October all the way until January. I do pick up a little bit around Easter time, which where we're at right now, but I usually have enough stocked up. But I'm in the process of making vanilla throughout the whole year, so I have that supply and demand. I'm making better vanilla now that I have something like this without the effort of having to shake my jars every day because I usually shake my jars twice a day. There you have it. I'm going to pull these out in a few days and put this batch in, start another one, and continue the cycle. This way here, I can save up my money, buy 16 ounces at a time, and continue to make extract. I don't have to put out a whole lot up front once I have this equipment. So anyway, I hope this has helped you out. Maybe you'll do something like this in the future. And I just wanted to show you some options of scaling down from 5 gallons or 6 gallons down to a gallon, doing some test batches and complete circulation. Hope this was very useful for you. I hope some companies reach out and I could work with somebody so we could show smaller scale. I'm not saying smaller scale, but small scale commercial operation that y'all could do at home, anywhere between 1 gallon to 14 gallons. So I hope that's in the future. I am going to leave links in the description below to everything that I used here. You may not be using the same configuration, but it will get you to a point where you can figure out what you want to do on your own with the available parts, because there are a ton of available parts that are like this that you can make up your own configuration. If you want to do identical to this, send me an email. I'll make a drawing for it, detailed drawing, and I'll send it to you as soon as I get it done. But there are a lot of options on Amazon, so you can make up your own configuration. You can go larger here, go smaller, and whatever. But those links will be down below. I'm amazed that Amazon has all this stuff, and the sky's the limit to what you want to do and how big you want to go. So anyway, I do appreciate every one of you, all your kind comments, and all your support. I This all comes out of my own pocket, and I'm doing all this for all of you, testing and doing the R&D on all this. because I love vanilla and I love all of you and all the feedback. And I'm just trying to help, and I do appreciate you. All right, from Clement's Family Farm, we'll see you on the next video.